As all know me, I'm Jamie Tennyson, State's Attorney for Nelson and Griggs County. I guess I'm also the Emergency Manager in Griggs County, so I should say that too, I guess. And President of NDACO. Our breakfast this morning is sponsored by MDU Resource Group, so please thank them for their continued support. I have just a couple of things to remember as we get into the business meeting. All the voting delegates should have the word delegate in orange letters typed on your name badge, which means you are allowed to vote on motions. When making or seconding motions, please wait for the microphone and remember to state your name and county for the purpose of the minutes. Your delegate council materials were emailed prior to the conference and are included in the conference app. If you have the app, click on Tuesday, select the delegate council breakfast and meeting. You'll have access to the meeting packet and other documents. We'll also be projecting much of the meeting materials on the screen. I officially call this meeting to order. Aaron Burst, North Dakota Association of Counties Executive Director, is hereby appointed the parliamentarian. The convention meeting minutes committee met previously and approved the minutes from the previous convention. Those minutes are available on the app. I'd like to introduce the other members of the executive committee. First Vice President Trudy Rulin is Montreal County Commissioner. Second Vice President Chad Kaiser, Stutzman County Sheriff. Third Vice President Nick Mosier, Cavalier County Commissioner. And past President Steve Lee, McLean County Commissioner. Can I have you guys all stand? Thank you, everyone, and it was great serving with you guys. Now I'd like to welcome Aaron Burst. He'll give us an overview of the association activities.
Well, good morning, everybody. Yeah, there you go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, there you go. I know it's early. I know you don't want to listen to a long, drawn-out speech, so I won't give one. How did last night go? Everybody enjoy The Mentalist? I'm still a little freaked out. I told him if he wants to get paid, he's not calling me up on stage because my wife was there, so didn't need that. But amazing time. It was fun to see everybody out. Honestly, I always think about those entertainment nights, and you're like, should we be doing those kind of things or not? But I don't know about you, but I get a little bit beat up once in a while. You know, elections are here, the Measure 4 thing, and you just start getting down in a funk. But then you get together with all of you folks, and you got an entertainment, and you're laughing, and it just kind of rebuilds your spirit. So I think that's an incredibly important deal. Like I said yesterday, one of the best words of advice I ever got from an old boss in Grand Forks. And he said, you go to these conferences, you go to the workshops, they're all great. You go to the keynotes and they're all great. But the most important thing you can do is make a connection with somebody new. Because once you get to know that person, whether they're on the other side of the state or other side of the world, you get a connection with somebody, and that's really what this whole life is about, right? So just a couple of things I want to mention. We do have a video. We used to do a whole thing of listening of what the association is doing for you, and I'm very proud of what we're doing for you, but you don't want me to read a whole speech like that. So we'll put on the video, but I just got to give a couple of things. First off, Livewire, who's doing the production here, has been phenomenal. Thank you. Give it up for Livewire. You really upped our game, and I mean that sincerely. Upstairs and all the workshop blocks, the words on the screen, the streaming has been phenomenal. Thank you. The other folks I want to say, I don't know if they're in here or not, but I don't know if you know, but we've contracted with a company called Fanatics. and they help us put this conference together. So if Fanatics is here, just give a wave, but everybody give them a round of applause. They've been great to work with. It might seem like these things are easy to put on, but the amount of work that goes behind the scenes is extremely, extremely tough. And I'm looking at Jeff there because he's led us for the last couple years on this. He came in and he said, man, my blood pressure is 180 over 120. And I'm like, gosh, mine's not good either, but that sounds pretty bad. So I really do appreciate the staff that puts all the time and dedication into making this enjoyable for you all. So please give it up for the staff. And the final thing I'll mention before we get to the video is, of course, November needs to go away. I don't know about you, but November has been tough. Obviously, we have the political election. Obviously, we have a bunch of initiated measures, including a big one called Measure 4. And I've always said this, if anybody, including myself, says they know the absolute best public policy on taxation, they're lying to you. But Measure 4 is devastating to local government. Is the sky going to fall if it passes? No, because we have good people that'll figure out how to deal with it. But even if you support Measure 4, I appreciate your views, and as long as I'm the executive director, we will always have open, honest debate on any measure. So I want to make sure everybody, whether you're pro-4 or anti-4, feels comfortable at the association, because really democracy or representative democracy works when all of us get in the room and have disagreements, but are not disagreeable to each other. And so it's important as we go through all these next couple of weeks where we're going to get stressed out. I know Joan's been taking it in the shorts. I read all the editorials around the state, by the way. So I read all of those. And all of you who put yourself out there, whether you're for a measure or you're against a measure or whatever the case may be, I appreciate it. And when I get down, and I won't put it up here and I'm not going to read it, but I encourage you all to go read Teddy Roosevelt, A Man in the Arena speech. I would read it, but I usually break down crying, and the staff already thinks I'm a little soft. So I'm not going to do it in front of everybody, all right? I'm going to be really mean and angry one of these days at the staff, but you need to read that speech. It revitalizes you, just like when you come to the Association of Counties and hanging out with all your fellow commissioners, sheriffs, auditors. It just revitalizes you, and that's extremely important when you are going through all these public policy issues. So the last thing I'll say is thanks to all of you. I look forward to seeing you. It's my honor and privilege to represent you. Ugh, I'm soft. It's also early in the morning. Took my wife to the airport at 3, so I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. I want to see you back here next year. Please bring your other auditors, treasurers, commissioners, encourage them to come. Whether they like the association or not, please let them come and hang out and sit down with all of us so we can have a good fellowship together. So with that being said, I think we will cue the video. As you know, this staff is 100% dedicated to all of you. If you need anything, we are always available to you. We might not always give you the answer you like, but we are here for you. That's the beauty of the association. So whether it's the first person you see when you come into the Association of Counties or the last person, I guarantee you we are all committed to the service of county government. So with that, please cue the video.
We've been traveling around to all the counties lately, and of course, no surprise, one of the biggest things that people want to talk about is property taxes. What they pay for, whether they're too high, whether there should be other alternatives to property tax, and so those are some of the bigger questions we've been dealing with over the last year. The budgets have been a challenge this year, of course. Every county commissioner wants to keep the budgets as low as possible. They don't want to overtax their citizens, and so trying to find that balance is of course very difficult when you have rising costs of healthcare, hard to find employees, so the wages have to go up. So those have been real big challenges. People are showing up to board meetings asking for better roads, for better law enforcement protection. But of course, all those come with costs. And so it's been a real balancing act that commissioners are faced with on how do you provide those services without relying too heavy on property taxes. I'm very proud to say county government is one of the most efficient, effective forms of government. When we've looked over at the data, we can see that counties have been very fiscally responsible and still provide a great level of service. So that's a real credit to those of you who are out actually doing the work. Of course, as everybody knows, for local government, we rely heavily on property taxes. So if there's measures or legislation that changes where that revenue comes from, there's a concern that how do you provide those good benefits and those good services without having the property tax structure. No one says property tax is perfect, but it is a consistent, reliable funding source to make sure services are provided for the citizens. The challenge is, of course, could there be other ways to fund those? And we're working with our legislative leadership, we're working with our executive branch, and working with all of you to figure out if there is a way we can provide those services with a different funding mechanism. Regardless what happens on the measure, we're going to have to be talking to all of our legislative partners and executive branch partners to figure out what could be done for citizens. The legislature certainly is talking about this, and it'll be a challenge for us to see if we can find some common ground on how we can help those citizens. Well, the Association of Counties is honored to be your representative and to work hard for you every single day. We have programs that run from workers' compensation to 911 to legislative services. And I can tell you every single member of our team at the Association of Counties is 100% completely dedicated to helping you in county government. Yeah, one of the biggest successes we've had, and we're very excited about it, is the 911 fee collection process. In the old days, there were multiple checks going back and forth between the association and county auditors and the state treasurer. So at this point, all 53 counties have signed on to the 911 fee collection, which is again attributable to great staff that we have at the Association of Counties, and all of you willing to trust the Association of Counties to help you out. And that's what we're really here for at the end of the day. Yeah, another thing we were excited to roll out this year was our first ever County Commissioner Summit, where we had about 100 commissioners come to Bismarck in February and sit down and listen to legislative leadership. So commissioners seem to be very excited, being able to sit in a room with each other, swap notes, understand what everybody's going through in a room just full of county commissioners. And that was designed on purpose, so they could have a freedom to say what they need to say and look for other ideas, and lots of great feedback on that, and that's why we'll be continuing to do it. Another conference that we provided that we were very excited to do was a 911 Emergency Communication Summit. And we had a sit down to say, what is the next 5-10 years of emergency communication look like? And that was an exciting opportunity. And again, we look forward to continuing that process too. As we end 2024 and look forward to 2025, there's certainly challenges that await county government. In particular, how we fund county government, whether it's property tax or a different form. But for 135 years, counties have been resilient in the face of all sorts of challenges. And I know we'll overcome this challenge too. And we'll be even stronger in 2025.
Thank you, Aaron. I now call on your Governance Committee Chair, Chad Kaiser, to present the report of his committee.
So we have the nominations for committee that came out. The nominations are Trudy Ruland, President, Chad Kaiser, First Vice, Nick Mosier, Second Vice, Kim Jacobson, Third Vice, out of the committee meeting to move forward. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? And this would be for president, I'm sorry. Any other nominations? Okay. And you finish that?
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, we have a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of Trudy Ruland for president, say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Trudy Ruland, you are president of North Dakota Association of Counties. Congratulations. Are there any nominations for second vice president? Any nominations for second vice president? Any motions for second vice president? Or first vice president, I'm sorry. Any nominations for first vice president? We'll ask one more time. Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to cease nominations and direct a unanimous ballot for Chad Kaiser. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Chad. Are there any other nominations for second vice president? Any nominations for second vice president? Any nominations for second vice president? Again, I'd ask for a motion for a unanimous ballot. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Who seconded? Motion and second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Nick. You are now second vice president. Are there any nominations for third vice president? Any nominations for third vice president? Any nominations for third vice president? I would again ask for unanimous motion for a unanimous ballot. We have the motion. Any seconds? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll now vote. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Welcome, Kim, to the third vice president. Okay.
Also, Mr. President, in our meeting, we also discussed the Constitution and bylaws. And I would we move to approve the Constitution and bylaws with the amendments that has been presented. Essentially, they're all have to do with the auditors and treasurers combining associations and some of the changes that need to be done in the Constitution and the bylaws for that. So, Mr. President, it was brought up in the meeting that we do move forward with those changes as presented.
We have a motion to accept the changes as recommended by the Bylaws Committee, Constitution and Bylaws Committee. We have a motion from Chad Kaiser from the committee. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We made some changes to the Constitution and bylaws regarding Auditors and Treasurers Association and their combination. Thank you, Chad. Congratulations to everyone who was our newly elected officers. Steve Lee, I would call on you to deliver the Resolutions Committee report.
Good morning. Resolution Committee met yesterday afternoon at 4:45, and for Resolution Committee is the North Dakota Association of Counties Board of Directors. We reviewed proposed resolutions that were unanimously approved or recommended by the North Dakota County Commissioners Association. Typically, we're able to approve these resolutions as a group. I will go through the resolutions one at a time. If you would like to have further discussion on that resolution, please indicate so. We'll remove that from the group and we won't vote on that with the whole group, and we can have further discussion on that specific resolution. So I'm going to go through the resolutions. If you would like it removed for further discussion, please let us know. Resolution number 1 has to do with resolutions. Currently, we don't have a sunset clause on our resolutions, and so as time goes on, we can have up to 200 resolutions on the books. What this does is puts a 4-year lifespan on a resolution, and at the end of 4 years, either the resolution goes away or it can be renewed by this group. And what that does is provides direction for the Board of Directors so they know where to go, and they certainly can't deal with a bunch of resolutions. So it's kind of a housekeeping bill, just simplifies things. Okay. Resolution 2024-01 deals with alternatives to property tax funding. Resolution 2024-02 deals with property tax exemptions. Resolution 2024-03 deals with support for county infrastructure. Resolution 2024-04 provides for support for North Dakota Insurance Reserve. Resolution 2024-05 deals with cooperative sharing of services. Resolution 2024-06 deals with support for American energy independence. 2024-07 is support for the United States Postal Service, basically indicating that we would like to continue reliable, dependable postal service for the state. Those are the new proposed resolutions. There are also 2 resolutions that were previous resolutions that are asking to be renewed. Resolution 2024-08 deals with on-site wastewater systems, basically requesting that rules be standardized statewide, just so you don't have 53 or 52 different mechanisms for installing wastewater systems. 2024-08 is a resolution from 2020. This has been moved forward to this year. Resolution 2024-09 deals with foreclosure properties and costs associated with hazardous materials and things like that. That resolution was from 2019. Are there any resolutions that anybody would like to have removed for further discussion? Okay.
Thank you, Steve. Were there any floor resolutions today that were submitted? guess I first should ask for motion and ask for a second on the current resolutions that Steve just went through. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Krause. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Now, are there any floor resolutions that have been submitted? Seeing none, we'll move on. It's now my honor to introduce the new officers of the North Dakota Association of Counties. I'd like to present President Trudy Rulin, Montreal County Commissioner, Vice President Chad Kaiser, Stutzman County Sheriff, Vice President Nick Mosier, Cavalier County Commissioner, Vice President Kim Jacobson, Agassiz Valley Human Service Zone Director. Congratulations, guys. I also want to recognize our 3 new board members, Don Flaherty, Dickey County Tax Director. He was chosen by the County Assessors Association to replace Lori Hansen. Aaron Mork, Nelson County Commissioner. He was elected at the Region 4 caucus to replace Steve Forty. And Josh Fry, the McHenry County and Towner County State's Attorney. He'll be the State's Attorney's representative when I become past president. I now ask Lori Hansen, Steve Forty, and Steve Lee to come up to the stage, please. I think he may have taken off.
Sorry.
Lori and Steve, I'd like to present with you plaques, and I want to personally thank you guys both for your service. Steve, I had some pretty big shoes to follow in the president position. I want to thank you for your support, your mentorship, and just being an all-around good guy. Thank you guys both for your service. It's much appreciated, and I think we all owe them a big round of applause. Now we've got the time that I wasn't looking forward to.
Mr. President? Jamie Tennyson will now be past president of North Dakota Association of Counties. And I want to thank him for the leadership that he has he's provided for the association. I think everybody in the board would be agreeing that Jamie has been a pleasure to work with. He's done a professional job, and he's been there when the association needed him, and so we all appreciate being able to work with him. So let's give a round of applause to Jamie Tennyson for his service.
Now this is the time I wasn't looking forward to. Trudy, would you please come up? I'm going to pass the gavel.
don't mind. I'm going to be nervous, so my voice will shake, and that's just the way it goes. So you'll have to go through the vibrations there. And Jamie has been set the standard that's pretty high, so I'll work to meet that. And I have a sense with him, I thank him very much for all he's done. He's not done. And we've spoken about it even as a second vice president, or I should say past president. He's still going to be very involved. And I guess I want to thank everybody here, because that's kind of how we are, is we show up, and as some people say, you know, the world is run by those who show up. We showed up to one board, and lo and behold, we're on 5, 6. But that's how our small communities go. And that's what I appreciate with Jamie, is he's a state's attorney, a farmer, and he's trying to balance, and we all are balancing all those things. And in all that process, he still remembered to bring me some pinto beans right off the combine. So, yay. I'll cook with those. So, let's see, now where do I go? So thank you very much. And I go to other business. I got to look at my notes I just got this morning. But under other businesses, I have 3 quick announcements. The scholarship lotto closes at 11:30. So buy now if you haven't. Goes to, as we saw here, we serve our kids in the community. Workshop block is coming up at 9 o'clock. Look at and pick out your best spot. And I would like all the North Dakota Association of County Board members to please gather in front of the panel up there, because we will have a group photo when we are done. And I guess unless there's any other business, no further business, stay by the bike. Meeting adjourned. You'll get used, I'm quick.